Yo, what up, friends? Get started with UFC 309. So obviously we did have a few, by the way, let's give a shout out to our UFC insider, our MMA insider, Clubber D, the Combat G. Now this is 2 cards out of the last 3, I believe, that he is 4-0, undefeated. So I need y'all to give him a little clap.
4-0 again. I would have been 5-0, but Wyman and Anders fight didn't happen because Derek Anders got hurt. I think his name Derek, whatever, it don't matter. But Eric Anders, I'm sorry, not Derek, but Eric got hurt. So they rescheduled that to the next UFC, the Pandoja card, December 7th. But yeah. We'll talk about those. But yeah, undefeated again. I hope y'all weren't dusty and kind of made those bets. If you did, you owe me $5. If you didn't, stay broke.
Yes, again, if you're going to be making money off of this program, we're going to need some compensation. To pay for the streaming or something. No, for real. But you all should for real be taking his bets, because if you did, you'd have made some moolah the past few weekends. So let's get into it. All right. First of all, we're going to talk about the hyped up one, the co-main event, and then the main. So first of all, we'll go with the hype prospect, Bo Nickel. Your man's defeated Paul Craig. What a warrior he is. But he was defeated by unanimous decision pretty handily, 30-27 for all 3 judges. What are your thoughts on this fight?
First and foremost, Bo should not talk shit to Khamzat Chimaev. He's not ready for him yet.
No.
I mean, his wrestling's there, but your stand-up is not there. I mean, Bo was so telegraphing his overhand right. And Paul Craig's not known for stand-up. He's a grappler. He'd take you down. He's going to submit you or break something. Bo Nichols didn't want to take him down at all. He kept it on the feet, but his stand-up needs work. He looks like a true college wrestler who just learned how to stand up. It was kind of like almost not as bad as when Bobby Lashley did his stand-up. Bobby Lashley was a little better, but Bo Nichols got a little ways to go, but at least he got the dub. He's still slowly getting there to that, UFC's pushing him, but they need to get that man some boxing classes ASAP.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Everything you said was spot on. He is not ready for Khamzat Chimaev yet. They need to keep building him up and giving him tougher competition. Other than that, there's nothing else to be said. You had that spot on in the preview. Make sure, if y'all want to follow our previews, we do a Clubber D Combat Sports preview for every UFC and every major boxing event. And if you want to make sure you stay updated with that and you see us live, make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and please hit that like button as well while you're here. I know a lot of y'all fans with Skywalker and I, so you may have been taking some flight and forgot a couple things, but don't forget to hit that like button because it helps the algorithm. You're right about that. They're right about that. A lot of boxing fans tune in to UFC 309. What would you say about that crossover of that fan base, Clubber D? Do you have any thoughts on that?
So I would say boxing fans mostly cross over to MMA. I'm old enough to where boxing is my first love. And I've always liked boxing, and then MMA came along and I started liking MMA a tad bit more because boxers don't want to fight each other no more. But now with these younger kids, all they know is UFC. Boxing isn't as big as it used to be. It's in what we'll talk about later about the Tyson card, about how the casuals, they came back a little bit. They came back for a free card. They got 60 million streams, and I saw a bunch of lot. And they're like, 60 million streams for this, but Pacquiao Mayweather only got 4.2 million viewers. Idiot, you got to pay for those. Okay, that's pay-per-view, you dummy. Like
what are we talking about right now? It's not even the same thing.
Wait to stream the damn Jake Paul fight, but you ain't got to pay for that. Like,
people have Netflix full. Get out of here with that.
So I'm gonna get on that a little later about my issue with that, the good and bad. But I would say boxing fans, some don't like MMA, and I totally understand it. MMA fans don't like boxing. It's kind of some people just stick to what they kind of rock with. So I'm thinking more casuals can hop over to MMA if a big star like a Conor McGregor, they'll watch for that because they know who he is. John Jones, they know who he is. Clubber D, they know who he. Oh, my bad. That was back in the 80s when I used to flood back in the MMA and boxing. That's another story. We'll keep it moving. My bad. Dame drops. Chris, don't let me get on you now. I'll get on you.
Let's get it.
Dame drops. All right, I'll get in a little your picture.
Everybody is feuding for real. Bruce Gas, Boxing and Jazz. You see that? Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in.
Let them know I cut up now. I go at you.
All right, let's move into this co-main event. Charles Oliveira defeated Michael Chandler by unanimous decision. Michael Chandler came back to life like the Undertaker. Just right, the 5th round, he just went out like a warrior and threw everything he had.
You get your ass whooped for 4 rounds. You got to do something. I mean,
well, that's exactly what I'm saying.
He only got Chandler's 38 years old. He has only 1 or 2 rounds in him where he can really fight. And then this, I'm shocked he wasn't. I was shocked he wasn't submitted in the second round, because when he got hit, he started doing that running around the cage. I know he tripped, but John Jones is the same thing. When they got hit, they started running around. Oliveira, his ground game is ridiculous. So I'm shocked he wasn't submitted again. But referee, if you see somebody getting hit in the back of the head, you're not gonna stop him? Like Chandler was teeing off on the back of his head. He didn't stop.
Rabbit punches.
Right. Killing him. But he got up, did the whole back, fell back twice. Yeah, that was cool. That was cute, but still was ass whooping 5 rounds. So
yeah, and so you were really so since obviously usually when we do these, or always when we do these things, we always ask for the main fights. What was next? So what do you see next for, if you don't have to answer necessarily for Michael Chandler, because we know he's probably going to wait on that Conor McGregor fight now, you would assume, with the L. Right. What do you think about Oliveira? What could be next for him?
Oh, it's Islam. It's 100% Islam. Got to be.
Okay.
There's no other. I don't see anyone else besides Islam or like a money fighter like Poirier or Gagey. Just it has to be like a big name for him. If it's not Islam, he's kind of much. Okay. He's in that upper echelon to where there's no need for him fighting gatekeepers. Same thing with Chandler. Chandler has to either get Conor, or he said Max Holloway. That's another one he could fight. Just somebody he can put on a show. Chandler's going to put on a show, but he's not. At this point, he's a high level gatekeeper. How about that?
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. He is very much so a high level gatekeeper. What shot of the title would this be for Oliveira now? What, the 3rd or 4th now at the light heavyweight?
3rd.
Okay.
Probably 3rd. I mean, he was champion, but
right, he was, which gives him cachet. Yeah. But my follow-up question for you as the expert here would be, how many chances do you get before Dana starts to, hey, you've had enough, or is he still young enough that and good enough?
It could be the 3rd fight against Islam. I think Islam beat him twice. You gotta remember, Max Holloway fought Volkanovski 3 times. So Vanderlei Silva fought fought Rampage 4 times. So I mean, if the fight's still there, if the money's there, if it makes sense, I can see them doing it, because Islam could fight a tomato tree in Abu Dhabi. He's gonna sell out that crowd. You know what I'm saying? So you can fight anybody. If he fights, it don't matter. They rock with him over there. So if he's fighting in Abu Dhabi or Qatar or somewhere like that, they're gonna sell that place out.
Yeah, no doubt. It is going to definitely sell out, especially if they were to do something like that, or even in any of the new big arenas that are showcasing all of these MMA events. Again, shout out to everybody who's here. Young Hitta, shout out. Hit Luck.
We're about to get canceled.
I said hit up. I thought that was Young.
I know. I read it. I glanced. I said, "Ooh, boy, man!"
Not gonna get us canceled. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Drunk Irishman Jones is a GOAT, and yes, that is who we're going to talk about right now. John Jones in the main event versus Stipe Miocic with a TKO by a brutal spinning back kick, which just looked like it looked like his whole insides just were boiled to I don't know. It just looked really bad.
If you haven't fought in 4 years and you ain't won in 5 years, and you're
Yeah.
42 years old. This was the fight that no one cared about, nobody wanted to see. I don't know one MMA fan, a hardcore fan that wanted to see this fight. This fight shouldn't have happened. It should have been Tom Aspinall. Everybody knows that. Stipe, last time we saw Stipe, Francis Ngannou gave him an uppercut from Mike Tyson's punch out like it was E Honda or somebody like that coming down to you uppercut to Lil Mac. I mean, that's the last time we saw him, and he knocked the race off his face and he was knocked out. That was 4 years ago. He comes back and gets a shot at the champion, which makes no sense at all. John Jones has been out for almost 2 years after beating Cyril Gane by a guillotine. And, you know, John Jones, everybody knows, should have been Tom Aspinall. Why have the interim belt if you're not going to let him fight the champion? Make that make sense. You know, so John Jones did what I thought he was going to do, whoop his ass. I mean, shoot. I mean, Stipe is washed. He's been washed. And John Jones, you know, he's 37. He's a young guy. He hasn't fought as often as we want him to due to other situations. But, you know, you gotta give him his flowers. You know, he did what he was supposed to do. Now, talk about fighting Pereira. Hell no, nobody want to see that. If he took down Stipe, who's a bigger dude, what do you think he's gonna do with Pereira? And like Aaron was like, oh yeah, Pereira knock him out. No, he won't. John Jones say about one round, that'll be it. It's gonna be round and pound. It's all it's gonna be. He's not gonna dare
with how heavy he looks too at heavyweight. He's just like, oh,
I think he was like 230-ish. Stipe was in the 247. Stipe was the bigger guy, but John Jones is just his wrestling's high level, so it's it ain't gonna happen. It ain't like Pereira will lose in a second. It's just not gonna happen. Now Aspinall, that's a different story because Aspinall can move. He's a true heavyweight and he's young. And John Jones said that, well, I'm 37, he's 30. What has he done to fight me? I'm like, well, you were 30 when you fought Daniel Cormier. So what are you talking about? And Cormier was 37. So make that make sense. If you're gonna duck him, make the ducking make sense. Leave the belt alone. Like Canelo, leave the belt alone and fight who you want to fight. That I'll be more, happy about that. But if you're going to hold the belt up to fight somebody that doesn't deserve a title shot, that's when I have a problem.
And so we know already then, and I agree with everything you said. I don't even have to say anything about that. But we know Stipe is going to go off into the sunset as one of the greatest heavyweights ever. John Jones, you just mentioned, as asked by Skywalker, right? Mm-hmm. That he was going to make it happen with either Pereira or Aspinall. Everybody would assume it should be Aspinall since he's the interim anyways. And as you mentioned, just the size difference between him and Pereira would just make that fight very, very difficult for any chance for Pereira. Do you actually see this Aspinall fight happening? And do you see it more specifically in the early half of 2025?
I don't think Dana's gonna let him fight without defending that belt against Aspinall. John Jones, I know he's playing it down, but it's probably for money to get more money out of the fight, as Daniel Cormier alluded to. I mean, they can literally do this fight. Mm-hmm. If they did it correct, they can do their first fight at Wembley Stadium and do this overseas in Aspinall's home. Okay, if they did this correct, wow. I mean, it's just like you got Bud Crawford talking about he wants to put $90K or $80K in Nebraska at Lincoln. I'm sorry, what the name of the stadium is in Nebraska. He wants to fill that up with a fight. After watching Jake Paul and Tyson, if they did this correct, and you have like Tom Aspinall against John Jones, you have Leon Edwards going against somebody, you have Patty the Batty Pauls on that card. You got the top high level English fighters when they do have a fan appeal. I'm sure UFC could probably get at least 60,000 in Wembley Stadium if they did that. It's just a matter of are they going to do them dirty like they did last time, make them go by American time zone, because they're fighting like 4 a.m. their time. They're like, screw y'all going to do American time zone. So that would be the only hiccup. But if they did that right, John Jones fighting overseas, oh my God, I mean, that's money. So he could be negotiating for something like that.
Right. Yeah. Pushing for more money and playing it down, like you said, which I think is exactly what he's doing. And so to follow up, Chris Irish Boxing has a question, and this is kind of what a lot of fans have been asking because of the lack of star power on the cards lately in UFC. And also maybe them watering it down with having too many events per month. Is UFC on the downfall, as Chris asked? He says, has it peaked, as well as his other kind of add-on to that?
I would say I would have to look at the numbers of their events, of what they've been doing. I know the Pantoja fight card, which is on December 7th, that's pay-per-view. And I saw that card. I was like, I wish I would pay for that. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even go to Bar by Zima and watch that fight card.
Right.
I had to watch that the next day on someone sends me a link allegedly. But I would do something like that. I'm not sure if they peaked, but they are oversaturating the sport because there is a fight card or a fight night every other month or week on ESPN Plus. And yes, that's a way to the whole point is to draw you to ESPN Plus, get the app, and then buy the fight. So I don't know how long their contract is with ESPN, but ESPN likes what they're doing. You know, the fans are still going. They had Trump. As long as you got Trump coming to Madison Square Garden. If you saw the eruption when Trump walked through the door, oh my goodness. They had to tell Elon Musk where he was. He was just walking around like a robot, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it's just everyone's going crazy when they see Trump and stuff like that. So they're still, UFC's on a big ass high right now. So I think they're still, you know, I think it's still pretty high. But the problem that UFC does have right now is developing the new crop of fighters that everyone's going to follow. That's the they do have.
And then Chris added the 80,000 in Wembley Stadium for Froch versus Groves.
Yeah, Froch versus Groves. Yep. I mean, I think AJ versus Du Bois had like 90 or something like that. So, you know, they love boxing. They love their own. And then you put Aspinall, you know, and you got Tommy Fury going against Darren Till, MMA fighter. They're gonna be fighting at the Co-op Arena. I love that name, Co-op Arena. Reminds me of The Wire. But anyways, they're fighting in January.
That is a good name.
You know, Liverpool versus Manchester type deal. So that they're going to sell out that crowd. So there is a market over there. And I think UFC, every time they go over there, they always sell out. So they can do something at a soccer stadium. I think they can. They've done it in Australia. They can do it in London or England as well. And John Jones versus Aspinall would be that'd be the perfect matchup. You know, that's just my opinion.
Right. And then Chris Irish Boxing says, yep, he agrees Jones versus Aspinall would be huge.
5,000.